welcome back to my podcast, All About Health. My name is Georgia Overbeck, and I am your host. This is episode 18, and this episode is very last minute. I did have kind of a plan for an episode I wanted to do, but then I didn't get around to actually writing out that plan. So I'm going to be just going with the flow for this episode. I don't have anything written out for it, so it's gonna be an interesting one. Right now, if you're listening to this, the sun is setting. You can kind of see it behind me if you're watching. It's late in the evening. Well, it's not really late. It's only 5:30, but the sun is setting, and I just got out of the shower, and I decided we could have a little bit of an evening sunset chit chat for this episode. And before we get into this episode, we're going to talk about my favorite recipe of the week and my favorite thing that I've listened to. So first of all, for recipe, I'm gonna say that I made some chocolate orange waffles the other day, and I know that might sound weird. I don't usually like chocolate orange things, but this combo was really good, and the reason I think that is because I don't love fake orange flavor, but a fresh orange is so delicious. So the flavor of the fresh orange on the waffle, it just went really well. I'm gonna link that recipe down below if you want to check it out. It was super easy, and so that was definitely my favorite recipe of the week. And then usually, if you've watched these episodes, so I switch between either the favorite thing I've watched or the favorite thing that I've listened to, so either a movie or a show or a podcast. And this week I have a podcast for you. So Chloe Turcha, TRCA, she goes by Close Fit on Instagram. She's big on TikTok. She's got a YouTube channel. I've really been enjoying her podcast recently, which she just started. I think she only has about 4 episodes, but the podcast has been really good, and I really like her content and what she creates. I've been following her for a while, so I'm really glad that she finally decided to create a podcast. So I think it's called, I don't remember what it's called, I'm sorry. So the Self-Made Podcast, it just came to me. I'm going to link it down below if you want to check it out. But that was my favorite thing that I've listened to this week, because we're still watching Glee, so I can't update you on any good show or movies that we've been watching. But we're still watching Glee, so I'm always going to say that that's a good recommendation. Okay, so let's get into the episode. And my idea for this, again, I don't have anything written out or anything planned, so I'm just going to say what comes to my head. This episode is going to be daily habits that have improved my life, changed my life, just made my life better. And I'm going to say productivity habits, I'm going to say self-care habits, things like that, that really have impacted me, So let's just go through the day. We're gonna start off with the morning. So I wake up, and here, actually, this kind of goes with the night before, but we'll say it anyway. I don't sleep with my phone in my room. This is the first habit, is to keep your phone out of your room while you're sleeping. And I know that not everyone can do this. If you need to have an alarm clock on your phone, or if you want to be there in case you have somebody who needs you, you might get an emergency text or something like that. But if you are somebody who you know that you don't need to keep your phone in your room, you just do it because it's a habit, or because you like to go on your phone before bed, or you like to go on your phone when you wake up in the morning, I challenge you to try and keep it out of your room while you sleep. And so for what I do is I still wear my watch to bed, but obviously it's different from my phone. I can't scroll on my watch and look at things. So I keep my phone upstairs, and then so that's the first habit. I'm just gonna go with that. And then next habit, I would say, okay, here's an easy one. Again, it kind of goes with the night before though. I like to set the coffee pot the night before, and you might be like, oh, that's a weird reason. Or that's a weird habit, but I'm just gonna say it anyway, because honestly, it has benefited me. And so what I do is before bed, I set the coffee pot, I put the coffee grinds in, I put the water in, so then when I go upstairs in the morning, all I have to do is press the little button, and it's easy, and it's there for me. And obviously when you wake up in the morning, the first thing you want, if you're me, is coffee. You don't want to have to go through the whole process of making it. So I find that it's just a really helpful thing to just have it there and ready for me to just press the button, and then I can hear my coffee brewing. And so that's the second habit. Number 3, and I still have not gone on my phone yet at this point, I like to read before I go on my phone. And again, I know that not everybody can do this. These are just habits that have benefited me. So if there's something that you're like, oh, I can't do that, then, pick and choose what would work for you. So anyway, I read first thing in the morning. I have always been somebody who prefers self-help books. I have read fiction books as well, but self-help books are personally what I enjoy. So I read first thing in the morning, and then I've also, this is more something that I've done recently, I've started journaling. So I have this journal. If you saw my last vlog, I put it in there, and it's called the Recharge Journal, and in the morning it writes down what your goals are for the day, and then things that you don't have to worry about that day, things you look forward to, and then at night, again, you go through it again. But in the morning, that's something I like to do. So I read, and then I journal, and then if I am in the mood, or if I have time, or if I want to make time for it, then I'll also write out gratitude. So I'll write out 10 things or 20 things or whatever comes to my mind that I'm grateful for. And I find that that's just a really good way to start off the day, is by number 1, reading, so that you get you're learning something right in the morning, which is nice. And even if you read fiction books, it's still something that's good for your eyes, like to wake you up a little bit. And then writing out the journal, like saying what you look forward to in the day, I think it just makes you excited. And then writing out something that you're grateful for will make you obviously grateful and put you in a good headspace for the rest of the day. And so you also don't need a journal. If you want to journal, you could just use a regular notebook. But anyway, so those are 3 things that I like to do in the morning before I get my coffee. And then once I get my coffee, I go on my phone. That's when I do my work on my phone. But I don't, something that I've never done really is have games on my phone, or things that are almost distractions. And if you have things on your phone that are games or whatever you like to do, then obviously that's great. But something that I find that has always benefited me is not having those games on my phone. I really try to have things on my phone that make me feel good, and that's something that I can learn from, or something that I can create with. I try to only have apps that I actually like. I go through my phone actually quite a bit and kind of delete old pictures, or delete old contacts, or delete old apps. I find that that is another habit that's really good, is kind of decluttering your phone. And I also like to do this in other ways too. As you can tell, I have no notes here. I'm really going all over the place, but I hope that you're enjoying this episode. Anyway, another thing that I like to declutter is my social media. So often I'll go through people that I'm following, and I don't follow a lot of people, but every so often I'll go through everyone that I'm following and unfollow accounts that don't really post anymore, or I'll unfollow accounts that are posting things that are not really inspiring or benefiting me or anything like that. And I find that that's just a good thing, because I think social media should be something that inspires you and that you feel good after using. And if it's not, then you should go through who you're following and things that are showing up on your feed and your For You page, and just making sure that there are things that you actually want to see on there. Okay, we're going to continue now. So after my phone, after coffee, after all of my books and things like that, is usually when I'll have breakfast. And this is something that is kind of new. So I used to kind of fast. I wouldn't call it intermittent fasting, because I didn't stop at a certain time of night. But because when we were in Ontario, we had a morning workout class at 10 a.m. and then we also had our evening classes. But I wouldn't usually eat before that 10 a.m. class. And then when we came to Hawaii, our class wasn't until 12:35, and so I could have breakfast. And honestly, breakfast is great. I'm so happy that I'm now able to have breakfast. I feel like it's a good meal to start off the day and make sure that you're fueled and that you are functioning great and you can support your body. And so I think that this is, if I could go back to past me, I would say to just have breakfast, just have something small even. I think breakfast is really important, and that's another habit that I think is really good and has really benefited my life. After breakfast, I usually will take my supplements. This is a habit that I've been doing for a really long time, but I think that it's something that could benefit a lot of people as well, is getting into that habit of actually taking and using whatever supplements you have. I feel like so often will go to the health food store or a supplement store and you'll pick up a new supplement, or maybe you'll read it about it in a magazine, or you'll see it on a show, or you'll see it out, whatever it is. We see supplements, we see these products, and we're like, oh, they're life-changing, they're going to change my life, it's going to help me reach my goals, and then it just sits in your cabinet. And so that's something that I think is really important, is actually using those supplements that you have. So that's a habit that I've had for a really long time, but this is your sign to create that into a habit, because not only is it just like a waste of money to have it sitting in your cupboard, you will start feeling the effects from those supplements if they are actually good quality supplements. I use Magnum Nutraceuticals. I always have it linked down below as well. Okay, so after supplements, I love to go on a morning walk. Morning walks, they're my favorite. I say to my mom all the time that I feel it wasn't until around last year that I really fell in love with going for walks. And I think that they're very underrated. I think that they're starting to become more popular, but I think that I think more people need to walk. And I love walks because I listen to podcasts while I walk. I'm in nature, I'm getting my steps. It's a great way to move your body, especially right after you eat. I find that it really helps with digestion. And so that's something that is a habit that I would say has really changed my life, is going for a walk in the mornings. It's just so beautiful and I love it. And I know that if you're somewhere where it's cold or you don't have time to walk, it can be hard, but I think even going for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever you have, a walk is just so beneficial. It helps to clear your head. So that's definitely another habit that I've been loving. After that is usually when we go to the gym, and a new habit that I've been getting into recently is doing heavier weights and less reps. And what I mean by this is I'm not going like 300 pounds for one rep or something like that. I'm just really making sure that I'm challenging my body with the weights that I'm using, because I find it can be, there's a chicken. I find it can be really easy to kind of just go with the flow and kind of just go through the motions, especially if you've been working out for a long time. And sometimes I would just pick up the same weights all the time for bicep curls or shoulder press when I know that I should be using heavier. And so that's something that I've really been doing recently, is really challenging myself with the weights that I'm using. And that's a new habit that I've been implementing, is making sure that I'm not just going through the motions with my workouts. And then after workouts, we get home, we do our other fitness class, our live fitness class, and then we have lunch. And then after that is when I have free time really to do what I want during that day. A lot of the time I do content creation, which is great because it's part of my job. But another thing that I've been doing in the afternoons is trying to do a little bit of something that I enjoy, like a hobby. And that can be either like doing a puzzle, it could be playing a game with my sisters, it could be coloring, it could be reading, whatever it may be. I think that just having a little bit of time in your day to do something that you enjoy, that's a hobby, that's not on your phone, is really good. And so even if it's, again, just like 10 minutes, then that's a great start. After that, recently I've been starting to stretch before I make dinner, and I just have been loving stretching recently, and it's an easy thing to do. Like, really, we can all stretch. It's something we should all be doing. And so what I'll do is I'll go to YouTube, I'll search 10-minute stretch for whatever it may be I'm looking for. I've done 10-minute stretch for runners. I've done 10-minute stretch for when your muscles are sore, 10-minute stretch before bed, all these different things. And it's such a relaxing and peaceful time, kind of similar to the walking. It's a good time to like clear your head, and usually the videos have peaceful music going, and usually around that time the sun is setting and it's just so beautiful, and it's a really relaxing time. So I think and you know what, I even started off with like 3-minute stretches, 5-minute stretches, but now working up to 10, and I'm hoping to continue with that. But stretching is just so relaxing and peaceful, and I think it's something that more people should be doing, and it's a habit that a lot more people should be incorporating, including me. I'm still trying to make it a habit. And then after that, we have dinner, we watch a show. A few other nighttime habits that I have is skincare. Skincare is really important, and I think that it's something that Once you have as a routine, it's hard not to have it as a routine anymore because it feels so good to do your skincare like that. And then I love to read before bed. I'll do my journaling again before bed. And then the last thing is just having like an earlier bedtime. And so what I've started to do is I go to bed usually around 9:30 or 10, and then wake up at 6:37, and that's a really good chunk of time to be sleeping. When we were in Ontario, I would usually be up until 12:30, and that's not bad, but it's just, that was, again, I was on my phone laying there when I could have been getting some good quality sleep. But it's kind of cool going from Ontario to now Hawaii and Vancouver. I've kind of switched my sleeping window a little bit. So as I said before, I usually go to bed at 9:30, wake up at 6:37. When we were in Ontario, I would usually go to bed at like 12:30, wake up at 8:30. So neither of those are bad or neither of them are good. I just find I feel better, I feel more productive when I am going to bed a little bit earlier and waking up earlier. And that is kind of my day. Those are some daily habits I would say that I've included recently or years ago that I've been doing for a long time that I find have just really benefited my life, have changed my life in some ways, and I would recommend trying some of them if you don't do them right now. Thank you so much for watching this episode. The sun is pretty much set now, so it's going to start getting dark, so I should finish it off here. If you enjoyed this episode, please like and subscribe, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!